Hey, this is Steve with PageKey Solutions, and this is OS13, where we'll be adding a Docker environment to PKOS to make it easier to develop. First, thanks to people who encouraged me to continue with this series after 2 years. Sorry it took so long. Hopefully I can get back in the swing and make some more useful videos. It's pretty cool that people find these useful. Before making this video, I did a huge amount of cleanup. I moved away from the wiki that we used to have, pretty much deleted it and left a link to the website that I have now. You'll see a local version running, but it will be at pagekeysolutions.com/docs/pkos, where you can find all the information about this project. It has a main page, and then each video has its own page with notes and anything else related to it. As an aside, this website is made with Docusaurus, which I just discovered, and it's awesome. It works really well, so I might make a future video about that. If you're interested, just let me know. Now let's jump into this Docker development environment. What do we have going on here? First and foremost, let's see what it looks like when we run it. And all we have to do for that is just type Docker compose up and hit enter. And right off the bat, we get what we would have gotten if we ran make run. It builds it and then it runs it in QEMU. The difference here is the Docker image contains all of the tools that we need to develop the operating system. So if we look inside of the Docker file, we have the apt packages that we need. We specify that we're running on Ubuntu in this container, and so we install all that stuff. Docker compose takes care of running make run for us, getting X11 working, which I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, mounting the volume so that when we built that just now, we did get a build folder on our host OS. We didn't have to copy files out of it or anything like that. It's all right here. In addition, if you check out the build folder, you have the run command, which did exactly what we just saw. There's two others. There's build. So if you pull code, you'll probably want to rebuild if there are changes to the Docker file to grab anything new there. Before doing any of the running or the shell. The shell, if I do bin/docker shell, it drops us into our container and we can do whatever we want. We can make ISO, which was another command that we had, and it looks like it succeeded, right? And then we can make run. So it basically just gets you in there with a bash shell in your development environment. If you're trying to do more than just run it, maybe you're, in the nuts and bolts and you want to debug a little bit, whatever. So I wanted everything that you could do to have its own little file, so it's very clear what you can and cannot do, or at least what you're intended to do from my perspective, although I'm sure there's plenty more that you can do. I tried to get dev containers for VS Code working, but I could not, so I'm just sticking with this approach where we have some shell scripts to guide us, some guardrails there. Feel free to try to get it working if you want. One final thing to note, first of all, if you're on Windows, I'm sorry, you're on your own. I've moved on to Ubuntu, and we're very happy together. If you are on Ubuntu and maybe possibly Mac, I ran into an issue where I couldn't get GUI windows to open up from my Docker container. The solution for that for me, first of all, was to add this host thing to the Docker file or the compose file so that it's using the host network instead of some kind of isolated network when it's running the container. And the other thing that I had to do was xhost local root, and that allows Docker to connect. Doing xhost local root is nice and specific. It's a lot safer than doing xhost plus, which you'll see online, which allows all incoming connections to your X11 server to be accepted. So I'm not too savvy on the security implications of that, but I just know that the principle of least privilege is surely in play. So if we can be more specific, let's be more specific. But that's pretty much it for this video. Now, if you would prefer, you can use Docker, and I'd probably recommend it because if there's any new packages or changes to how this is built, I'm just going to update the Docker file. Maybe I'll say something, but yeah, feel free to use the environment you already have. But if you like Docker, which I do, now we're set for some Docker. That's it for this video. Let me know if you have ideas about what we should tackle next. I'm thinking the file system is probably pretty high on that list, and beyond that, I don't really know. So we'll see. Thanks for watching.